Is that how we're starting it?
Do you want me to lead you in again?
No.
We already did the countdown one time. It didn't work.
All right.
Action.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Across America, episode number 44. I am your host, as always, Jack Austin. With me today, one time only, Robert Lamb.
You keep saying that, but everybody knows at this point that it's not true.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Okay.
But I'm just being consistent, even though we've been inconsistent in recording
cheeky?
this.
That's true.
Yeah, it's just been life happening. Holidays have been coming and going. Things are a little hectic, and we've got...
every year that happens.
Yeah.
They come and
we
go.
have a bevy of other shows that we record for as well, so we're sorry that we didn't get to this one. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And then Robert was like, Jack, you've got to do this episode for Trisha Arnya Allen Ald. You've got to do it for her.
That was such a bad play.
She's so bad. I'm so sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, ma'am. You have inspired us to record this today because you always say such nice things, and we love you for it.
Yeah, a lot of people have been reaching out and saying, when's the next episode? Story or The Walk.
Right.
Or
Story is recorded a little bit more regularly and put out than this one has, but
we're almost done with this one. It's coming
it's
down
getting
to the
there.
wire. So we figured, let's get back to it, record a few more, and try to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Because eventually I do finish this walk.
You do.
I do.
Eventually it happens.
At some point it does end.
Yeah. So... I'm going to let a brief recap for you for how far we've come at this point, because I know it's been a while since we dropped one of these. So let's catch people. Been a while since Rob came to talk about his walk across the country. All right. Go ahead, man. Do it for Trisha.
Honestly, I don't remember exactly where we left off. So I'm just going to kind of get to the... I think I know. I think I was in Piedmont.
I thought you were going to say, and then I walked off the airport in Washington.
And then that's when and we started our walk. No, I think we are in Alabama.
Yes, we are, for sure.
We're for sure in Alabama.
Sweet home.
I think I mentioned that I was in Piedmont, or at least made it to Piedmont, which was a small town with a recreation center. No, okay, I don't think I mentioned this. When I got to Piedmont, I was calling police stations every so often in these small towns, especially in the South, because there's just so many of them. And I'm like, you know what? If they can help me and they have a spot where I can camp out, that's cool.
Not to mention them just knowing you're there is kind of a big deal.
Well, and that's the thing is, I used to, when I was in Wyoming, I didn't have to do that because I didn't hit a lot of small towns. I didn't hit one every day like I did in the South. So I would just sleep on the side of the road. But here in the South, from Tennessee and on, I kind of didn't always have an area that was suitable for me to camp in. A lot of it was private property. A lot of it was just town after town after town.
Yeah.
So I was like, I might as well. I'm going to hit this town. Maybe I'll call and see if they can set me up with a place to camp, which worked a couple times. I think I mentioned earlier that I did sleep outside some police stations up until this point, which, again, this was another time where I was like, let me call and just see. It's getting dark. There's nowhere to really camp around here that was close, that wasn't fenced off. And so I called the police. I stopped at a Subway and I called the police station. I was like, hey, do you know if there's any place that I can camp around here? Because I'm going to be here for the night. Kind of thing. They didn't even have a motel or anything.
We got a cell open you can share with Bo Cephas in there. He gets a little handsy past 9 o'clock.
Wait, is Bo Cephas his full name?
No.
Is it Bo Cephas?
No.
Or is it Bo Cephas?
No, Bo Cephas is one word.
What's his last name?
Jones.
That's a pretty good last name.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
not very popular, not very common.
It sounds like somebody from Alabama, though.
Yes, it does.
Bo Cephas Jones.
I would know.
I do also want to mention that
we caught him loitering outside of Dick's Sporting Goods.
Bass Pro Shop.
Bass Pro Shop.
I don't even know if that's over there. No, but I do want to mention that the guy who I read his blog or whatever, who watched Across the Country before, said that he did that too. He would call police stations every once in a while.
Yeah,
that was one of the reasons why I was like, I'll try it out.
Yeah,
just see.
Worst thing that could happen
is they kill me.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that would happen. Anyways, it didn't happen though. I didn't get killed. But I remember calling them, and here in Piedmont, they're like the dispatcher or whatever. She's like, let me find out for you, and I'll get back to you. So I was like, okay. So then they call me back, and they're like, hey, if you want, there's a recreation center not too far from here, and it's like a big park. They just built it, and there's like a little camping area where like the Boy Scouts have gone. If you want to camp there, there's a fire pit and everything like that. So I was like, okay. I'm like, it's getting kind of dark. They're like, yeah, it's still like another mile or something ahead. I'm like, all right, I'll go there. So I went to this recreation center, and I saw the recreation center, and it was like closed, but it was brand new built.
Yeah,
and everything. It's just this big building in the middle of a huge field.
A big sign that says "Welcome, Wallet Guy."
yeah. Oh, and then everybody popped out and said, "Surprise,
hey, Wallet Guy, we found you."
So,
and that gazelle.
Oh, he came out. He popped out of the cake.
Yeah,
it was quite scary. You don't think a lot of gazelles pop out of cakes
with guns?
Well, yeah. Let alone just a gazelle.
the Gatalope.
Yeah. But then after I had my cake and made peace with the Gatalope, I was looking for a place to camp, but I couldn't find the stupid little spot that she was talking about.
Right.
So I was like walking around this area, and it was huge and just in this like huge field. So I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to camp. I'm like, I'll camp in the field. I'll camp over here by like some trees. I'm like, that should be good. So that night it got super cold, like really cold. And I mean, it hadn't been this cold since the snow in Washington or whatever. And there's like a cold front moving through. So like this whole week that I was walking was going to be like super cold. And so I like bundled up in everything I had, like my jacket and my hoodie,
right?
All my t-shirts, my pants and my shorts. Like I wore everything that night. And I just like curled up in my sleeping bag. And I want to say it was around 2 or 3 in the morning. I heard like chains outside my tent.
Thank goodness at this point you're in Alabama and not in like Wisconsin.
No, I know. Well, yeah, no.
Yeah.
But I heard like these weird like chains just like rattling outside my tent. So I'm like, what? So at first, obviously, I thought it was a pirate ghost. And
come on out, city boy.
And I was like, what the hell is that? So I like sat up. And then all of a sudden, like this dog just starts barking, like like big dog.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh shit. So I just waited out. Like I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, he'll stop eventually. No, it was like running around my tent, like barking at my tent. It didn't try to get in,
right?
But it was just like, and it was like dragging chains or something. So I was like, I really don't want to open my tent and like deal with this because I don't know what kind of dog this is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it doesn't sound too friendly, and it sounds like it got loose somehow. But it was like dragging chains, and the chains would like whip around my tent. Like I would just hear like these chains like sliding. So I was like, crap. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna wait in here and just hope he doesn't like try to get in the tent and stuff. And he literally, at one point, I think he like sat because the chain stopped rattling, and he just like sat right by the door of the tent and just like barked and like snarled at my tent. And I'm like, oh my god!
You didn't call the police?
No, I just sat there. So I just waited. If he like tried to get in or something, I'd have to fight him. But it didn't do anything.
If he tried to get into my tent, I have a pretty intimidating scream.
Yeah, listen,
people call it more of a shriek,
but it does its job. It frightens whoever's attacking me. You know what I mean? And that's my defense mechanism. Like like those birds. I don't know, the birds that like screaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then it scares like other birds away.
For sure.
Anyways, but yeah, the dog just like sat there and just barked, and literally, I think it lasted like probably at least a half an hour, maybe even an hour. He just sat there, and I tried to go back to sleep, couldn't do it. Finally, when the dog left, I did go back to sleep. But the thing I didn't mention before, which I don't know if I mentioned in the last episode, but our mutual friend, Jack, and this person is how we met, Brian.
Yeah.
He lives in Georgia now. I went to high school with Brian.
Yeah.
And
I played soccer with Brian for several years.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wait, so
That's how I know
you
each
didn't
other.
go to school with him then?
No, I didn't.
You didn't go to Northeast or whatever?
I did go to Northeast, but I was there
did you?
before him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then that makes sense. Okay, yeah, because I was in the same grade as him. And when he moved up to Georgia, I remember him getting in contact with me and saying, like, hey, are you going to walk through Georgia? Maybe we can meet up and I'll buy you dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, slow down, dude. Like, we're not dating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
I don't know what you're trying to
Lay
do.
the base.
Like,
I got it.
I didn't know you liked me like that.
Yeah.
And then,
It's good of you to keep your wits about you. You were not so smart with me.
No, obviously. Well, you bought me dessert, too. So
yeah,
it's
that's
a little
right.
different then.
Come into my house without me knowing you.
Yeah. It's a little
Just
different.
kidding, buddy. Just kidding, buddy. I'm kidding with
Just
you.
kidding.
Just kidding around.
Just kidding.
Just a little joke there.
But Brian got in contact with me and he's like, hey, like tomorrow, I think he had off or something. So he was like, let's meet up. I go, all right, well, I'm going to try to make it into Georgia. I'm like on the border of Alabama right now.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow I'll try to meet up with you and try to get close to where you are, like in the afternoon or something. So he's like, all right, that works. So, that night, though, I didn't get any sleep because of the stupid dog. And
Yeah,
like,
of
because
course.
by the time, I got back to sleep after that, and it was cold. So I was waking up like every hour just trying to like get warm. And then finally, I was like, you know what? I need to meet Brian. I don't want to like be too late. So I'm like, I'm just going to wake up early and start walking because I'm not getting any sleep anyways. So I woke up at 5 a.m. and I was like, this is fine. I'm just going to go now.
Yeah.
So I packed up everything. The dog was gone. And literally as I'm walking, like I found like this little trail that goes to, it eventually made its way to like this other road that I needed to hop on. And the trail like was just south of me. So I'm like, I'm going to hop on this trail and just follow it out of the town. So when I walked to the trail, of course, I walk right past the Boy Scout area. I saw like the fire pit and everything like that, and I was like, "God, this is right here." Like all I had to do was
if I would look just a little harder,
a little bit longer, I would have found it.
Well, if you had any kind of idea of the area, I'm sure you probably would have found it.
I know,
this is your first time ever,
and it was dark.
Yeah,
and like I didn't know where I was going, and I've never been to that town, so I'm like, whatever. So I walked past it and hopped on this little trail. And then finally, when the sun started coming up, it started warming up a little bit. But I was still wearing pretty much every piece of clothing I had. So as I'm walking, I get out of the town, and there's a it hits like this. It's called I forget what it was. I forget the name of it, but it was a highway. It was like an old highway. So I hopped on that, and it goes through like these farmhouses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm walking through like that area, another dog, like a huge pit bull, comes out from like the bushes. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's like, it's got to be like 6:30 in the morning or something like that. And it just like snarls at me. And I'm like, oh shit. So I like wait a minute, and it like walks kind of by, and then another pit bull comes out of the bushes. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm going to have to fight off a pack of dogs right now. Like, this sucks. So, like, the dogs literally, like, I was like, hey, guy, hey, buddy, come here. Like, you good? You good?
Yeah.
And he's just, like, walking around me. And the one dog was barking at me a lot. Luckily, they weren't dragging chains, so I knew that it wasn't
you knew they weren't
dog.
that
It wasn't
dog.
that dog. But, unless they, like, went in the bushes, ripped off their chains, and came back out.
Yeah. Naturally.
Yeah. And the other dog wasn't like barking at me, and it was like a female because I saw like her 8 nipples hanging down, so she probably just gave birth or something.
Of course.
But she was walking around me, like circling me, and she wasn't like barking or anything, but she was just like walking around me. And the other one was walking like next to me, like maybe like
they were doing the pincer move,
7 feet off or whatever, and just like following me. So for I want to say half a mile, this is what like they were just following me. So I had a spare wheel from my cart that I still had from when I replaced the cart back in Missouri. So I actually took out the spare wheel and held it like a shield just on the side, just in case they like tried to attack me. And I just walked like that for half a mile, and they just circled me and barked at me for half a mile. And then eventually they turned and went back into the woods, which I'm assuming they're one of the houses there that they were like protecting or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, I really thought I was going to have to fight off dogs and then get a rabies shot or die. I don't know.
Yeah, or die.
I mean, They're pit bulls.
If they got you by the neck, you'd be in deep trouble.
I know. Hey, why do you think I had a tire shield?
Why?
For that that very reason, Jack. I didn't want to get bit in the neck, in the jugular.
The jug?
Rip out my throat like MacGruber.
Oof.
Throat
Me
ripper.
too.
Throat ripper. No, that wasn't MacGruber. That was Kung Pao. But yeah, like that's I'm not, and dogs aren't usually intimidating for me. Like I don't. They
I
don't
like
bother
dogs
me.
a lot too.
Yeah, I'm like
they typically don't mess with me until they got something wrong up in the upstairs.
Exactly. That's why I'm like I don't really have like issues. I've never really been attacked.
You could
by
tell
a
that
dog.
nobody's been up to those dogs and been like, no, yeah, don't bark.
I know.
Don't go crazy. You know, like some people, you can tell that dogs know, I probably shouldn't be doing this. Those dogs seemed like they were scouting you to see if they could take you down and eat you.
Yeah, like they were like swarming me like a pack of wolves. Like that's what it reminded me of.
Something,
just like following
there's some
me.
connection there with wolves and dogs.
You know what?
I think they both have the same cable provider.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And they just watch the same
All right.
same
Glad
documentaries.
Glad we solved
Planet
that.
Earth.
Both of them saw Balto.
Balto.
Yeah, it's an old Disney movie about a sled dog that's part wolf.
You know what's weird is they made another Disney movie called Bolt.
Yes, they did.
So I thought you just mispronounced that movie.
Nope.
That wasn't. You didn't mispronounce it.
I didn't.
Okay. You're like Balto.
Balto.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but
man.
no. Listen, if it was like a pack of cats circling me,
then you'd be fine.
Yeah,
You'd been okay.
I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
What are you guys gonna scratch
It
me
was
a
like
couple
6
times?
or 7 rabid squirrels running around you, then I'd be more worried than the cats.
I would be more worried than the cats.
Yeah.
I would definitely. And then if there was like 100 rats like running around me,
Yeah.
I would try to lead them like
Or just
Ben,
one snake, period,
but like a large one.
in the vicinity.
Snakes don't bother me though.
They do me.
Really?
There's only 3 types of snakes I'm afraid of. Have I told you this?
If you say trouser, I'm gonna get out of this.
I'm not afraid of that.
Okay.
It's a live one, a dead one, and a stick that looks like one. I don't mess with snakes, man.
Really? So
just
you would
don't.
never have a pet snake?
No, I wouldn't.
Is it okay? Really quick, not to derail. Like
we are
normally do.
so well known for derailing the story, and I know your buddies are gonna be like, God, why did you have to do this? We waited so long.
No, we're not going to derail.
A buddy of mine had a Burmese python.
Those get big.
It was huge,
Right.
and it was albinos. It was white, and I was like, I had to keep coming over to his house because I was working with him on something, and his snake didn't stay in the in the cage.
Oh, really?
And the snake's name was the Birdman, and he always seemed cool. I was like, man, it's just snakes and I, we know we don't like each other. He's like, he's never been aggressive towards anybody ever. And so we were sitting at his house, and at this particular occasion, we were playing the football game for Xbox Madden.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we're playing Madden, and I look out of the corner of my eye, and down the hallway is the Birdman slithering down the hallway. And I'm like, I'll just play it cool.
Right.
The snake doesn't bother people. I'll play it cool. About 5 feet from me, the Birdman stops slithering. He does that little thing with his neck where he curls it up into an S and starts hissing at me. I was like, get your snake, dude.
I don't want to deal with this.
He's like, what's wrong? What's wrong with the Birdman? I was like, the Birdman is about to become a very nice wallet or a purse. Because he started hissing at me, and I was like, "It's just the snake knows I don't like it. And
Right.
It knows I know it doesn't like me.
It can sense that
Yeah.
and heat.
Yeah. So me and the snake both know that there's a problem.
Yeah, it can sense heat and disagreement.
Needless to say, the Birdman went away.
Damn.
But yeah, snakes and I respect them. I think they're beautiful. I think they do a great thing for
Right.
the ecosystem.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to go out of my way to kill a snake or anything like
Right,
that.
right.
I'm just not going out of my way to touch it or
touch
pick
it,
it up or
right.
mess with it.
See, snakes don't bother me. I like the way they feel and stuff like that. Like, it's kind of
Yeah.
cool. I would never have a pet snake because, like, they do, like, especially, like, pythons and stuff. Like, they get big.
Yeah.
Plus, like, I've had a lot of rodents as pets, and I just feel bad if I had to feed them to
Yeah.
a snake.
Last story before we wrap it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is about a big snake and owning a big snake. Have you
Mm-hmm.
ever seen this? Maybe you've seen it on social media, this wonderful world of social media. There was a woman who owned a huge python like that.
Right.
And she said that it loved her, like loved her. And she goes, it sleeps with me and all this other stuff. And the snake was huge, like bigger than her. And one day it just stopped eating. and it was like 2 weeks the snake hadn't eaten, getting close to a month where it didn't eat, and she took it to the vet. It was like, hey, something's wrong with the snake. It loves me. We sleep together. It sleeps wrapped around me head to toe.
Right.
And it's just stopped eating. And the vet goes, yeah, he's planning to eat you. She goes, what? She goes, the reason he's laying around you like that is he's sizing up your body, and he's not eating because he's fasting for his big meal, which is you.
Oh my God. They do eat.
You know what, man? The day my bulldogs stop eating and start laying dangerously close to me, they're done.
They're going to lay around your head.
Sorry. So the day they start laying next to me, like, all right, I'm on to you.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I think people like to, not to go down on this tangent, but like people like to, what's it called when you like put your own emotions on like animals? Like you're basically saying like that they feel the same way. Like people see their dogs and their dogs start wagging their tails, so they're like, oh, they're happy to see me.
Like, they're kind of projecting their emotions onto them. Or, yeah.
So they do that a lot, and I feel like certain animals, like mammals, they've proven do have some kind of emotional attachment. Yeah. Like if you kill a baby elephant, like the other elephants are going to feel that and stuff. Reptiles aren't like that. They're more instinctual. So they don't have, I don't believe they have feelings. So the fact that she's like, he loves me is kind of like, I don't think
you're
that's
weird.
true. Like your chameleon's not going to love you. Your tortoise isn't going to love you. They might like you because you have food.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's about it.
These reptiles like the service you're providing.
Yeah, it's not a genuine love.
Yeah.
Like you're a friend. Like, you know what I mean? So it makes sense. But I'm sure some people will, as we're talking about that, my cat is trying to break into the room.
It is.
So annoying.
Well, we're gonna call this an episode because
why? Because we recorded it and we're gonna release it.
There might be a pet cemetery situation happening.
Cool.
Again, Trisha, thank you so much. This episode is for you. We're dedicating it to you. You better love it more than any other podcast you've ever heard.
Ever.
All right. Thanks for listening. That's episode 44. We'll see you again.
This has been a 7 Lamb production.